This is an important message for the church right now. As congregations and individuals, we need to be focusing on what God is calling us to do, what our gifts are, where our passions are, and those should all work together. As we sort that out, we find ways to do it, and we find ways to let go of the rest. Now, the beauty of this story is that it's not just for the church. We can take it with us as we live our lives out there. And that little word, no. People wonder why we still read the Bible. It's because it tells us we can still say no. The stuff we need for living abundant life is in it. And ironically, the way to abundant life is not to try to do everything. The way to abundant life is to focus on what we're called to do and what we're passionate about. The attempt we make to do everything is arguably the biggest problem we face as a culture, especially middle-class culture. We're spread so thin, it's hard to do the important things well. Or worse, we don't enjoy our living because we're just rushing from one obligation to the next. It affects our physical health, since fast food isn't always good food. It affects our emotional health, too. This is an adult problem, but it's increasingly a problem that adults are saddling their children with, too. We're telling them that they have to do everything to be successful, but we're not telling them the road to success of this sort isn't necessarily the road to happiness. And unfortunately, many of our children are finding that out on their own. The organization kidshealth.org conducted a survey of 1,000 children tweens from the ages of 9 to 13. So 1,000 from the ages of 9 to 13. 90% said they were stressed because they were too busy. 90% of 9 to 13-year-olds say they are stressed because they're too busy. These are 9-year-olds, okay? You're not supposed to be stressed when you're 9. You're supposed to play and be free. We need to stop and ask ourselves, what are we doing as a culture? Okay? The solution, whether we're a youth or an adult, is to do less. We must focus on what we love. We must focus on what gives us joy, on where our passion is. We must focus on our gifts. And in this culture that gives us every option and expects us to do everything, we have to find ways to let go of things that don't fit. I received a book this week titled Journeys of Simplicity, Traveling Light. It's a compilation of lists of what famous spiritual leaders have packed for their journeys. For instance, a list of things that environmentalist John Muir packed for his journey on foot from Indiana to the Gulf of Mexico is in the book. And it's this: in a rubberized bag, comb, brush, towel, soap, change of underclothes, copy of Burns' poems, Milton's Paradise Lost, Wood's Botany, small New Testament, journal, map, a plant press. End of list. The list that Jesus gives the disciples when he sends them out 2 by 2 is in the book. Take nothing for your journey except a staff. No knapsack, no bread, no money, not 2 coats, be shod with sandals. Go, preach heaven is at hand, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. End of list. Philip Harnden compiled these lists, and he writes, 1,200 years ago in China, a middle-aged man named Piang Yun loaded everything he owned onto a boat and sank it all in the Tongting Lake. After that, we are told he lived like a single leaf. He asks, what would it mean to live like a single leaf? What would it mean to make one's life a journey of simplicity, a journey of focus and intention? He suggests we consider these questions. Where do our journeys take us? What do we leave behind? What do we carry with us? And to ponder this mystery, we take delight in things, and we take delight in being loosed from things. Between these two delights, we must dance our lives. This is true, isn't it? We take delight in things. We take delight in our activities. We take delight in our responsibilities. But as we become overburdened with them, we take delight in being loosed from things and activities and responsibilities. And we need help figuring out how to dance, how to balance it all. Focusing on God-given gifts can help. Focusing on the God-given gifts of our children can help. What gifts have I been given? How am I expected to use those? How am I expected to develop these? And as we focus there, we find our passions are there too. And we seek to offer those gifts to the church, and we seek to offer those gifts to the world. And then we try to let go of some things on the edges. It's not easy. People will think we're weird. They'll wonder why we're not on the same frantic road as everybody else. They might even be a little bit angry with us. Wonder why we're not doing the things we're expected to do. But remember, we've been given permission by the good book to say yes to what matters to us and to say no to what doesn't, and to let the pieces fall where they may. Amen.